Listen, you might think, hey, the Reds had a rain delay today. Nick and Craig have an extra hour and a half to get things together. Stuff happens, okay? Sometimes things don't go as planned. Today is a great example of that. Did not go as planned, but we're back nonetheless. Chatterbox Reds live after a Reds 9-1 victory over the daunted St. Louis Cardinals. Nick, other than the stress that we've been facing for the last 5 or 10 minutes, how's your day going?
Going fantastic. Never been better, man.
All right. Well, apologize to those that came and watched the original chat with no sound, but nonetheless, here we are live and ready and raring to go. Nick, are you ready? Should we get into it? Do I need to kill some time for you?
Nah, we're just going to roll.
Recap.
We're just going to roll with it today. You get what you get. All right. Reds taking on.
This seems like a great time to remind people that the podcast version of Chatterbox Reds is live shortly after every episode and is oftentimes cleaned up.
It's after midnight. I don't upload it till the next day.
All right. Well, it'll be uploaded for you to listen to tomorrow.
Shortly. Don't give people bad information. No.
All right. Well, tomorrow listen to it. It'll be better.
4 a.m. when I get it finished. All right. We got a great box score recap through the 4th inning, so we'll give you that for you today. Reds taking on the Cardinals, game 4 of 4 at Great America Ballpark. Andrew Abbott against Matthew Liberatore. Bottom of the 2nd, Gavin Lux walked with 2 outs, and then Jose Trevino smacked his 3rd home run of the season. That put the Reds up 2-1. Cardinals got a run back in the 3rd on a little blooper, and then Abbott was able to survive 4 walks to get the Reds to the bottom of the 4th with a 2-1 lead, but then the game was put into a rain delay. Somehow the Reds won 9-1. That's your box score recap today. Let me pull up StatCast, and I'll tell you what your deep drive of the day was. Was it Trevino? No, it was Steer. Steer at 384 feet. As always, our deep drive of the day, proudly sponsored by Deep South Commodities. DSC is a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production. They specialize in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information. Thanks always to our friends at DSC. All right. Now we talk about the game.
All right. To the 186 of you watching live, we appreciate you for sure, and appreciate you working through this with us as we work through it. But Nick, similar to I guess this series, right? I mean, you look at Monday and the Reds get a nice 3-1 win. Nick Martinez looks good in that outing. And then yesterday, just a total failure on multiple levels. And now back at it and better than ever today. 9-1 victory, end up with a series split. I mean, the Cardinals aren't exactly expected to be great this year, but anytime you can pick up a series split against a rival like this, I think you have to be somewhat happy, especially after how you played yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember the exact odds. I think it's like 57% or something of these series end up in a split. So, like, this is the most likely result. It's kind of weird the way we got there with the, a pretty nice win in game one and then 2 ugly games yesterday and then a blowout win today. So, but this is the likely result. You never take big league wins for granted. Ask the Milwaukee Brewers. They were losing 8-0 to the Chicago White Sox last time I checked. So, these wins all count. This is the keep it moving. This is the keep it moving series. I mean, that's, I think, the title of it, where you're at. And now you got a good opportunity this weekend against the Washington Nationals.
Absolutely. And speaking of how we get there, Andrew Abbott today, through the first 4 innings, only 3 hits, 1 run allowed, had 3 strikeouts, but he did have 4 walks. Not his best command today, but in general, a pretty good outing for Andrew Abbott before the rain came. Obviously, once the rain came and you had that hour-and-a-half delay, there was no option to send him back out there, but had to be pretty happy with what you got out of Andrew Abbott today against this Cardinals lineup.
We got lucky. I mean, anytime you walk 4 batters in 4 innings, I'm not going to say it was a good outing. It was a weird outing from him because the 4 walks weren't like competitive walks. Like, at least 3 of them, I mean, the 4 balls were like way out of the strike zone. So it was a weird outing from him.
I think 3 of them were on 4 pitches too. It was
just completely uncompetitive at bats.
Yeah.
And he somehow was able to pitch around it. It's kind of, I guess you want to give him credit for not letting his command issues be compounded. I mean, that would be probably the best thing he deserves credit for, is being able to rein it back in and make some pitches when he really needed to. Didn't really give up a lot of hard contact at all today. Even the run that he allowed was on like a 60-something mile per hour hit off Arenado, and then Elly kind of hit the ball and flicked it into the outfield. So I don't know. It's just a weird start from Andrew Abbott because I don't really worry about command as his problem in the future. So again, it was a keep it moving start from Andrew Abbott, just like a keep it moving series for the Reds.
Yeah, I mean, the only concern is that his last time out, he walked 5 in 4 innings against Colorado. I know a lot of people say not to pay a whole lot of attention to stuff when it's in Colorado, but his 2 previous starts, he only walked 3 combined through 11 innings pitched. So the last 2 outings, a bit of an anomaly, and certainly something to keep an eye on. But I'm not going to sit here and start to overanalyze just yet, especially on a rainy day where it was probably hard to get a grip and hard to really get command of stuff. I mean, he's kind of had some outings like in this in the past. Last year, he had, it looks like, 4 different outings where he walked 4 or more batters, including a game in June where he walked 6 in 5 innings. So, hopefully he can rein it in and kind of get back in that 1 or 2 range for most of his starts, but definitely something to keep an eye on. But the one thing that you mentioned that is obviously important to keep in mind with Andrew Abbott, and that is that he just doesn't really give up a whole lot of hard hit balls. And today was a very similar story for him. You look at this matchup and an opportunity for success, and you look at what he was able to do today, and only 3 hard hit balls in those 4 innings. So, and I think for the most part, the Reds have to be pretty happy with this outing from Andrew Abbott and him being able to use, all 4 of his pitches effectively, and, being able to rely on his fastball and still be able to get guys out is a good sign for Andrew Abbott, because it's not like he's throwing super hard. Average today of only 92 miles an hour on his fastball. So not the hardest hitter or not the hardest thrower, but the fact that he can keep contact to a minimum is definitely good. Any final thoughts on Abbott? Go ahead.
Yeah, and it's also worth mentioning, I mean, it was kind of a weird week for him too this week, because he didn't know when he was going to start either because of the rain out. The Reds didn't announce him till yesterday. Even after the rain out, they didn't announce him that night. Now, maybe they had already had the plan. They just hadn't officially announced it yet. But there also might have been something behind the scenes. I'd be kind of fascinated to hear what he says post game. But again, he kept it moving. He was fine. I would be more concerned if Abbott's getting hit all over the ballpark than some really weird walks, because I don't think that's going to be an issue for him. I'd have to see a lot more of that before it would become a growing concern.
Yeah. All right, let's take a quick break. Let's get in our ad reads. I'll get it started, and then you can pick it up. 988. We want to remind you that you can call or text 988 anytime, day or night. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is a place to get support for anything related to mental health, whether it's an immediate crisis, simply wanting to find out how to connect with care, or anything in between. It's 100% confidential, secure, and anonymous way to reach out for help when you don't know where else to turn. To connect, call or text 988 or visit mantherapy.org to get help. As a reminder, it's okay not to be okay. And Nick, we had some conversations in the Discord today about the game at Bristol Motor Speedway. But for those of you that are interested in attending that game or any other Reds game, what's the best place to get your tickets?
Yeah, of course, the Game Time app is the official ticketing partner of Chatterbox Sports. Always great for last-minute ticket deals. That's how I use it the most. I bet they still have some good deals for Bristol, probably all the way up until that game. So that might be worth something to check out. Keep kind of checking the app, see how the pricing market goes for that. But as always, they have all-in pricing. It shows you your total up front before checking out. Panoramic seat views in the app, event cancellation protection, automatic full refunds for events that are canceled and not rescheduled. And as always, lowest price guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code CBox for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code CBox, CBOX, for $20 off. Craig, what time is it?
It's game time, Nick. I don't want to do that one yet. We'll get to that one. But a quick super chat from Jim Lafferty. Appreciate the support. $30 super bomb. A muted Chatterbox Reds is 10 times better than waking up every day a St. Louis Cardinals fan. Go Red. Couldn't agree more with you, Jim.
Jim knows ball.
Jim knows ball. Appreciate the super chat. Before we got into ad reads, we talked about Andrew Abbott and limiting hard contact. Speaking of limiting hard contact, our friends over at Reds in 4, Mitch, put out today that entering play today, MLB average exit velocity against the leader in all of MLB, Doug Graham Ashcraft, at just 80.1 miles per hour. And Nick, Doug was on it again today. Ashcraft finishes the day 3 innings pitched after the rain delay, 3 perfect innings nonetheless, 4 strikeouts. His ERA now down to just 0.57. I know that you were a big advocate for this, even going back to last year and before, but I don't think that any of us really expected Ashcraft to be quite as dominant in the bullpen as he has been so far this year.
Yeah, what an unbelievable performance today. I mean, 3 perfect innings with 4 strikeouts. I mean, that's incredible. It saves the bullpen. You're in a stretch where you don't have any off days, and you desperately needed it. And I think I said last night the worst case scenario here would be Abbott going short. And it wasn't Abbott's fault. It was the rain's fault. But that was 3 huge innings to give some guys some days off. And it was a close game. I mean, when he came in, it was a 2-1 game. Yeah, the Reds put up 2 runs right off the bat. I guess it was technically a 4-1 game, but he thought he was coming into a 2-1 game. But yeah, those were just huge innings. Threw 26 of his 31 pitches for strikes. I mean, that's just that's incredible. It's incredible that you're throwing that many strikes and you're that dominant, because normally everyone says throw strikes, but if all you're doing is pumping in strikes, usually it's not going to be that effective. You have to kind of throw a few balls in there. So Graham Ashcraft is just it's like a sense of pride, man, the way that he's taken this role, run with this role, and embraced it, because he's an absolute weapon. I love the idea of multiple innings out of him. I like the idea of not 3 all the time, but 2 innings out of Graham Ashcraft. I would rather be able to use Graham Ashcraft for 2 innings 5 times every 2 weeks than be able to use him for 1 inning 8 times every 2 weeks, or whatever the math works out to there. Because I think that's how you can get the best bang for your buck with him is multiple innings. I'm a huge fan of multiple inning relievers just because you want to win. You want to make sure you win the games that you have right in front of you, because you can use Graham Ashcraft for 2 innings and then not have a spot you need him for a week, or sometimes you need him, back to back to back. So I like it when you can use your best arms for multiple and just go ahead and knock them out when you have a game in front of you that you have a winnable game. Because you're going to have other games that aren't winnable, like 2 of them that we saw yesterday. So yeah, I just so happy with what Graham Ashcraft's doing, and he's not going to be this good all season. It'll be interesting to see what he looks like when he, does start to go through his first rough patch of the season. But I have about as much confidence in him as just about anyone on this roster right now in their role.
Yeah, I mean, I said it in the Discord when they brought him in to begin with. I said, I love going to Ashcraft here, see if you can get 3 good innings from him. 3 good innings is an understatement in terms of what they actually got out of him. I think the thing about Graham Ashcraft in this reliever role specifically is that he's really embraced just relying on the pitches that he's best at, right? So before, when you're a starter, you can't just go out there with 2 pitches and hope that you're able to fool guys. But if you have 2 good pitches as a reliever, you can absolutely make a career out of that. And he's used basically today his slider and his cutter. One of them, I think a couple times he threw his cutter up over 100 miles an hour today. And then he drops in that slider. That slider bottomed out around 89 today. So, I mean, that's a pretty big difference as a major league hitter. Have to go up there and try and guess whether I'm going to get a 100-mile-an-hour heater or a 90-mile-an-hour off-speed pitch. And Doug's really embraced that and been able to kind of lean into his role there. And it's working out for him for sure. And his dominance is shown. And the bullpen as a whole today, I mean, we can go to that super chat now. Dr. Duback, $2 super chat. Reds relievers not named Diaz have now retired 50 guys in a row. Nick, today, the Reds bullpen, 5 perfect innings. Ashcraft, obviously 3 of them. Taylor Rogers comes in, and then we'll get to Luis May in just a moment to talk about him. But, I mean, this bullpen, which was, again, a concern coming into this year, I think has probably overperformed expectations. And to be able to get 5 innings out of them today and secure a series split with the Cardinals, pretty happy with how that has shaped up so far.
Yeah, Taylor Rogers, I mean, his numbers look a lot better than kind of like he's felt, really.
Mm-hmm.
And there's probably a little
1.64 ERA at this point.
Yeah, there's probably a little bit of truth to both, like, the feeling and the actual numbers. But yeah, I mean, this bullpen has just been an incredible bright spot. The Reds are not where they're at without this bullpen. What are they, 17-15 now, I think? I mean, the bullpen was the biggest concern for me that could have gone off the rails early in the season, and they've been anything but that. They're actually probably one of the bigger reasons why the Reds are where they're at right now. I don't have it in front of me, but I think the Reds are ranking like in top 10 in baseball in bullpen ERA. Hold on. I'm almost there. I was so close, Greg. Ninth in Major League Baseball in ERA. And they have had a couple of games, too, where they've gotten kind of blown up. Like Diaz gave up, 5 earned runs in 0.0 innings yesterday. So,
yeah, I mean, you take that outing away alone, and they're probably top 5.
Yeah. So, this bullpen has been great. And again, the nice thing is that you have just a lot of arms at AAA, not just Zach Maxwell, who, yes, got rocked last night, but is still an incredibly talented arm. But there's you talked about it when we did, our the show the other day. I mean, guys like Joe LaSorsa, Albert Abreu. I mean, these guys are quality, not back end. What do you call the I guess front end? Is that what you call them? Whatever you call them. They're quality of those, like your last reliever options. That I think you can plug them in at certain points and they can get big league hitters out. So definitely just really happy about the bullpen, and think it'll be a continued strength. And that's what you just hope with this team, is that they're starting pitching and now their bullpen over the course of 162 games are going to wear down a lot of other teams, mainly the Chicago Cubs, because the Chicago Cubs right now you put the Reds and Cubs. The Cubs are, I think, clearly a superior team to the Reds. if I'm being honest. But the one advantage the Reds have is the Reds have significantly more pitching depth than the Cubs have. And can the Reds wear the Cubs down? Because that's how the Reds win the NL Central this year. It's wearing the Cubs down over 162 games.
Yep. And the Reds haven't had a chance really yet to face off with the Cubs. So still plenty of opportunity to make up the ground. And certainly no one expects the Cubs to stay as hot as they are currently. But yeah, I think I think we have to talk specifically about Luis May. Appreciate Big Red Machine with the $5 super chat. Happy May Day, Cindy. Maybe? Cindy? We got a flamethrower, Nick. Now, I think we all know at this point that Luis May is probably going to have struggles in terms of command and potentially walking guys. It's just the way he has been. And quite frankly, it is kind of standard with the flamethrowers. But, I mean, again, along with the rest of the bullpen, a perfect inning here in the ninth to close it out tonight. A 9-1 ball game, but, I mean, I think you have to be happy with what you saw of Luis May in his MLB debut as well.
What a perfect spot to get to put him in his big league debut. The ninth inning, which is kind of a cool spot for him, but a 9-1 lead. I'm sure Frank Cotto was just like, this is so great that I get to put him in this spot. We talked a lot about Luis May, but, you know, he walked 4 batters on April 19th. Ironically, the game that he's had this hardest pitch of the year was thrown on that day. But he's now gone, counting today, that's 5 straight outings where he hasn't walked anyone. I believe he threw like 9 of his 12 pitches for strikes in his last game at AAA. And then today, I think it was it 10 of 15 or it was something like that. So, yeah, I mean, he's throwing strikes. I mean, when this guy throws strikes, Hunter Green is maybe the only more talented pitcher on this roster. I mean, maybe Nick Lodolo, but it's totally a different way. I was just doing some more research on May last night after the call-up. The guy hasn't a lot of home runs since 2023. I mean, batters are hitting 199 against him since the start of 2024. I mean, when this guy throws strikes, he's dominant. And that's maybe the difference between him and Zach Maxwell. I think Maxwell probably is going to be a little bit more consistent with not walking as many guys. But Maxwell also does have the tendency for people to be able to catch up to his pitches and tattoo one out of the ballpark. Whereas Luis May, I mean, the guy's given a home run since 2023. So, again, we'll see. This was a very easy spot for him today, but there's a lot of reason to have some hope that this guy could figure it out and be an absolute dominant closer, 8th inning, 7th inning guy, whatever the Reds want to use him this year. But we'll see. I'll be fascinated to see the first time he has one of these blow up outings, how this fan base reacts.
Yeah, I said it on the show that we did the other night, obviously after the game, about how silly he made a couple of batters look on the Memphis Redbirds with that slider, and he only had to use it once today, but you can already see kind of how that would affect batters. I mean, he's up there, he throws 15 pitches today, 14 of them were that fastball or sinker as it's classified, with an average velocity of 99. And then he throws that slider out there at 86. And I mean, I don't want to use comparisons that are similar to, you know, other people, but like, that's exactly how Paul Skeens is making his living right now too, is keeping batters off balance. And Luis May certainly has similar stuff to somebody like Paul Skeens. So for sure, a great outing for him, a good opportunity for him to get into the game and an experience there. And he definitely showed up. And, you know, you feel for a guy like Chase Petty, who last night didn't have his best stuff in his debut, but then you look at a guy like Luis May today and obviously had a great outing and a good debut. So we'll see how long he is up for. I'm not sure kind of what your expectation is, Nick, if you think he's going to be here for the long haul or if you think he gets sent back down, but I guess it kind of depends on the health of the bullpen, right?
I think he has a spot unless he proves otherwise. I don't think the Reds called him up just to, you know, go a couple days, and if they activate, like Sam Moll is the next guy. Like, although Sam Moll has options, and the Reds could could option him. He's on a rehab assignment technically right now. I don't think the Reds called up Luis May to be a fill-in guy. I just don't think that. I think the Reds have a lot of high hope in this guy. So I don't think you would want to call him up and kind of have him be a guy that you're shuffling back and forth. So I think he's permanent. I wouldn't be shocked if Sam Moll is activated tomorrow, because the Reds did the 2 in a row. You know, when you see a reliever pitch back-to-back days, that's usually a sign that he'll take the next day off and then get activated. But it might be Yasser Zulueta. I mean, Yasser Zulueta might have made a trip up I-71 and get sent right back down tomorrow without even pitching. But that would be what I would expect there. I don't unless May has a couple blow-up outings. I think he even probably gets at least one free one before the Reds would option. That's my guess.
Yeah. Well, obviously the bullpen showed up and showed out. It's not often that the Reds put up a 9 spot and we wait until the back half of the show to talk about offense, but with the pitching the way that it was today certainly justifies it. But Nick, we have to talk about this offense, and you know, you look up and down the scorecard, and Noelvi Marte with 2 hits today. He's now hitting .328 on the season. Santiago Espinal, 2 hits on the day. He's hitting .324 on the season with insane splits against lefties. Spencer Steer, nice to see him get on the board today with 2 hits and an RBI. And of course, Jose Trevino just continues to show out and hits a home run today, 3 RBI on the day. What stands out to you most about this offensive performance so far? Well, I guess today specifically.
Yeah, I mean, just up and down, a lot of good stuff. I mean, Santiago Espinal, man, what another good day. This guy just, I said it, this guy is a great hitter against left-handed pitching. He's so valuable in that role. Marte, 2 more hard hit balls. I mean, he's just playing out of his mind right now. Obviously Steer, I mean, he's looking like the Spencer Steer that we had expected coming into the year. You know, starting to get more and more comfortable. Again, I'm just moving past that terrible decision to put him on the opening day roster and focusing on the future. So, and then Jose Trevino, I mean, just an incredible job that he's done. And I love that he's going to get all his production for 2025 while Tyler Stevenson was out. I mean, you couldn't have planned that any better. So shout out to Trevino, and Matt McLain got a hit late in the game, had 2 hard hit balls today. So that was really great to see. That's probably, honestly, my biggest positive. 2 balls hit 104 miles per hour, Craig. So that is a very, very good sign to see.
Yeah, need him to break out of this slump. 1 for 5 today with an RBI. Average sitting at 161 right now, so can only go up from here, you would think. But definitely somebody, especially if they're going to continue to hit him in the 2-hole, that they need to kind of get turned around. I maybe you and Trace have already talked about this. I apologize if you have, but how long can you afford Matt McLain to sit in the 2-hole while he's hitting this way? I don't necessarily agree with taking him out of the lineup. I think that in order to find a swing, he's going to have to be in the lineup. But sitting in the 2-hole in front of Elly, does that make a ton of sense right now?
No, I have 0 issue with it. I mean, McLain had 2 of the 3 hardest hit balls today of any Red. So,
well, you're talking about today, but
I hate getting so hot and cold on these dudes. Like, a guy has 2 bad weeks, and we gotta move him down in the lineup. Or this guy's hot, we gotta move him up in the lineup. Like, let these guys figure it out. Like, don't treat these guys like, he's struggling, you gotta move him down. It doesn't matter either. I mean, look at these lineups that we've run out this year. Of all the things, we're going to worry about Matt McLain batting second. Like, no.
Hey, for a guy who hates Elly De La Cruz batting third and coming up with 2 outs and nobody on in the first inning every game, and then you're going to turn around and say that you're okay with Matt McLain batting second every game when he's hitting 161. You can't have it both ways, Nick. So one of the 2 things has to change if that's going to be one of your gripes, which, again, we're getting into the weeds here on a 9-1 win for the Reds. But I get your point, but at the same time, if he's not doing what you need him to do,
I still think Matt McLain gives me my best chance out of the majority of this lineup to have a good game on the next day. I don't buy into these like cold streaks as much as everyone else does. where you just, yeah, I don't know. I hate just guys struggling. Gotta move them down. Like it's not that big of a deal. It's not. Let's go bat Trevino second. Let's do that because he's hot. Let's bat him second. Let's see how well that works out. Like it's nuts. Let Matt McLain sit there. He's fine. Hell, I'd bat Matt McLain lead off right now.
No, you wouldn't. All right, let's talk about this one.
My lineup would be either McLain first, Elly second, or flip the two of them. And I wouldn't mess with it. I don't care how hot or cold they are. That would be my 1 and 2, and I wouldn't mess with it all year.
All right. Well, where does Santiago Espinal fit into that? $5 super chat from our friend Ned Flanders, longtime supporter. Are you getting more comfortable with Espinal in the outfield? He made a nice play out there today. Does that solve a, quote, problem? He did make a decent play out there, cutting off a ball that Barry Larkin gave him props for. I again, not to like continue that conversation because it was kind of in jest, but nonetheless, like Santiago Espinal, especially when you're going up against a left-handed pitcher, him batting higher in the order would certainly make a ton of sense. They hit him 5th today. Is that realistic for Espinal against a left-handed hitter or a left-handed pitcher at 5th? Friedel was batting leadoff. I know that some people have different opinions on Friedel, but where are you at with Santiago Espinal at this point? 2 for 4 today, 324 on the season. I looked it up earlier. He's hitting his career numbers against left-handed hitter. His career numbers against left-handed pitching, he's hitting over 300. This year, he's up at like 375 or something like that against left-handed pitching. I know you don't like small sample sizes, but 300 plus career hitter against left-handed pitching is not a small sample size for a guy like Santiago Espinal. Where does he fit in for you?
Yeah, I mean, I would bet Espinal higher personally, but 5th is fine. Like, I'm not gonna be upset about it. The thing is, like, I personally, I think Tito wants to stick these guys in. Like, he doesn't want to move TJ Friedel around. Which, whatever, I can buy that logic. Like, getting guys comfortable, putting them in their spots. But for me, I would rather have like Espinal and Friedel flipped because that gives Espinal more chances to face a lefty than batting 5th. And it also gives TJ Friedel more chances to face a right-handed pitcher when they have to bring in a reliever. So that would be my thinking. But the whole Espinal and right in the outfield thing, great play today. That's good to see. It's good to see that this guy, just wherever you put him, he plays well and is capable. I guess with the roster now, it kind of is what it is. I mean, it just feels dumb, but I can't really fault them for playing him in the outfield. I think it would make sense as much as possible. And I mean, I know the Reds already did this week, but I think it would make sense as much as possible to give McLain and Elly days off against left-handed pitching in the field and have Espinal play in the field and have them DH, because I think that is a way to, A, not have a lineup that looks weird, and B, keep those guys fresher. That's what I would probably try to do as much as possible. But I don't know. The Reds never give Elly a day off in the field. Has Elly DH'd yet in his career? If it is, it's not much.
Surely at some point he did, I would think. But yeah, I mean, if I remember correctly, he played 160 games last year, and I'm pretty sure they were all at shortstop, if I remember. But I could be.
He's one career game as DH in 2023.
Yeah,
so,
I was going to say, I didn't think it was last year.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I would DH Elly every once in a while, but I don't know. Again, I'll take their word for stuff like that because maybe they've had conversations with Elly and they really believe that he has to be like that full go to 100 guy, and being a DH wouldn't work for him. So I'll plead the 5th on that. But personally, I would like to maybe have him DH a little bit and help him stay fresh over 162. Especially when you're in a stretch like this where you're playing every day for 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah. Another guy in the lineup that is seemingly battling to get out of what was a big slump that lasted nearly a month is Spencer Steer. Home run today. He's his 3rd on the year in the 6th inning. Now back-to-back days with a hit. He's got 10 hits in his last 8 games. another guy that, especially with Candelario out and performing the way he had been performing, and CES obviously with unknown timeline for return, Spencer Steer feels like a guy that needs to be productive in this lineup because there aren't a whole lot of other options at first base for the time being.
Yeah, you can have a little bit different conversations about Steer and, exactly how much he should be playing against like right-handed pitching when the Reds are fully healthy. But right now, I mean, those conversations are kind of silly because there's not a lot of options. He clearly needs to play every day at this moment. He's looked a lot more like the Spencer Steer. Like this, just the last 15 days, he has a 775 OPS, which is pretty much like exactly what my expectation was for him this season. So, it's going to give him a chance to settle in. He's had a couple big home runs the last couple weeks. So, but again, we'll have different conversations about Steer when there's a different roster available.
Yeah. Couple super chats to get to. Whoever bats 1 and 2 spot ahead of Elly must have speed. That's why McLain is in the 2-hole. Go Cincy. Yes, Cincy. I do think that there's some legitimacy to that. It feels like if someone's getting on base ahead of Elly and they're obviously detracting from Elly's ability to run the bases, then that certainly could have a negative effect on Elly's value. So I think there's value in that comment. Any thoughts there from Big Red Machine?
Yeah, I think normally I would like be the whole clogging the bases is kind of overrated, but yeah, I think he's some validity to that. I would just rather have, again, I'd rather have Elly batting first. That would be my preferred, just like the a lot of teams do across baseball. Is Ohtani still batting first? Or are they batting him second these days? Yeah, like Shohei Ohtani bats first. Like it doesn't diminish him. It doesn't make him less of an RBI guy. Like the Dodgers have had a little bit of success with that recipe. So that's what I would do. And then I'd have Friedel batting 9th. And it's basically kind of the same lineup, but that's where I'm at.
Yeah. Did confirm Ohtani still batting first as DH for the Dodgers.
Acuna bats first.
Yeah. Pretty optimistic John. $20
he figured it out.
Super chat. Espinal is a solid player. Play him anywhere, just play him. As long as it's against left-handed pitching.
Yeah, again, I appreciate the super chat, John. These are 2 games in a row where he's had incredible games, but they've been against left-handed pitching. If you play him against right-handed pitching, you'll probably get different results. So, he just is thrived in his role. And that's the biggest takeaway for Espinal, is he just has thrived in his role. And one of the more underrated trades, I think people forget, like the Reds made a trade for him where I don't even remember who they gave up. Do you remember who they gave up?
No, it was like some right before the season transaction, right? They sent pitcher Chris McIlvain.
The legend. I mean,
the legend.
What a sneaky good trade, though. And remember, there was talk this offseason, and I at the time said it was nuts, but MLB Trade Rumors, who does incredible work, that they do an incredible job covering everything, they said that the Reds were going to non-tender Espinal. That was like their definitive thing. And I was like, no, there's no way the Reds are going to non-tender Espinal. But yeah, one of the just sneaky great trades. Espinal he complements this roster so well. Like that's the thing about him, is just he's such a good complement because of his position versatility, his ability to hit left-handed pitching at a well above average level with a lot of other lefties. He's just a perfect fit for this team. What a great trade. You talk about needing to make a trade at the time after McLain and Marte were suspended. One of the sneaky great trades in Reds history.
Yeah, I just pulled it up. Chris McIlvain has not pitched this year, it doesn't look like. Spent last year at high A, went 3-3 in 11 games through 49 innings, 4.56 ERA. So yeah, I think it seems as if that one worked out okay for the Reds. I don't see any update on McIlvain. It looks like he last threw in June of 2024.
I love you, Craig. You're all in on it, just like
I'm
me.
all in.
You
This
get
is
in
like
the weeds.
this is like back in our day when we were like stalking Jacob Hurtubise and like 12:30 at night. We're looking up how Jacob Hurtubise did that day and what we could find out about him. So yeah. But yeah, look, and the other thing about Santiago Espinal, I mean, like 100% his splits are so much better against lefties than righties. This year against right-handed pitching, he's still hitting 275. Now yes, I know the whole limited scope and all that other stuff, but career 250 hitter against left-handed or against right-handed pitching, an OPS of only 635, but he's not the worst hitter in the world against right-handed pitching, but certainly there are better options, it seems, on this Reds roster right now against right-handed pitching. So I do think that anytime that there's a left-handed pitcher on the bump, Santiago Espinal should be in the starting lineup. And depending on how things go with Austin Hayes and others, we'll see kind of how he fills in over the next couple of weeks. We did get an update on Hayes today. Looked like he was running in the outfield. They're trying to avoid putting him in on the IL. It seems like a mild sprain for him, so they're hoping he can come back sooner than later. Didn't see any discomfort on his face during the running drills, but hard to say for sure what the latest is there. Anything else you want to chat about for today's game specifically, Nick? Did I get to all the super chats? I think I did.
I think we got through it all.
I think I missed one. Jacob K. Doyle said, so many teams need starting pitching. I honestly think Abbott value could be at a high point this deadline. Wouldn't mind flipping him for a bat.
It's just hard to have those conversations till we see what the Reds pitching depth looks like at that point. Because the Reds have had relatively good health starting pitching wise. So again, I've been very open to trading Abbott if the deal was right, because I do think he's one of the more potential overvalued players. But again, you also have to remember every other GM has the exact same information that Nick Kirby has to look at, things like FIP and stuff like that and regression stats. Like they know that stuff too. So you're not going to pull a whole lot over unless you trade with the Colorado Rockies. I wouldn't be against it, but the pitching depth would have to be not good. It'd have to be great. Like I would have to have maybe two guys at AAA that are, I feel very confident in being ready for the big leagues before I would consider trading one of the big league starters.
Okay. All right.
Once you get past the trade deadline, there's no going back. You can't go try picking up starting pitching. Remember in 2023, the Reds were trying to pick up pitching like at the end of the year. Remember, was it the Padres that one year where they had to pick up like the corpse of Jake Arrieta to make a start because they just had like no pitching left and they were like in a playoff chase? You don't want to get to that point. So I'm not against it, but you have to be very cautious.
All right. It's time for everybody's favorite segment, Nick. Reds MILB. I see Honest Fan in the chat just clawing at it. I think we all know what that means, but why don't you give us the rundown on the Reds minor leagues?
Yeah, just one team in action so far today. The Louisville Bats beat Memphis 13-4. Bats now above 500 at 15-14. Tyler Stevenson 0 for 5. He's really struggled during his rehab assignment. He DH'd today. The official report was the Reds were going to evaluate him after today. So we'll see what is next for Tyler Stevenson, whether that's getting some more at-bats or joining the Reds this weekend. We can talk about that maybe a little bit more in a second, but Stevenson does have 5 walks in his last 3 games, so that's a positive. Will Benson hit a moonshot 430-foot home run, his 6th of the season, also walked twice. Reese Hines 1 for 4 with a double. Jacob Hurtubise on base 3 times today for the Bats. Chattanooga, they're in action at Montgomery at 7:35. They've won 5 of 6, now 11-11 on the season, just one game back. Dayton, 7:05 tonight at Fort Wayne. They're struggling. They have lost 3 straight games, but John Michael Fale has a 12-game hit streak. And the Daytona Tortugas taking on Lakeland here at 6:35 p.m. Tortugas 11-12. They're 3 games back at the moment.
There you go. You want to talk about Ty Steve now, or you want to do it after?
Yeah, we can do it now. I think I would be fine with giving him a weekend, one more. Say finish off this Louisville series in Memphis, and we'll reevaluate it again on Sunday night.
What's the MLB timeline for how long they're allowed to keep him on a rehab stint? Because when did he?
21
He's
days.
been on this. 21 days for a position player.
Close, is he?
Not even close. No.
Yeah.
I think he's on like 10, something like that.
Yeah. I think the rest of the weekend. He did yesterday. He did yesterday hit a ball 400 feet. Like, it was a legitimate well hit ball. Michael Ciani made a really nice catch at the ball. It's on Chatterbox Sports on Twitter. I think I posted like 8:30 this morning. Like, he did hit a ball really hard yesterday. I didn't look up the hard hit balls today. But I think, kind of where the Reds catching situation is, again, I'm not banking on what they're doing, and I'm not waiting on Tyler Stevenson because of that, but I think maybe 3 more days. The only caution I have, though, is you're going to face some pretty good pitchers in the Nationals this weekend, that maybe it would be kind of nice to have him up here for that. And you're going to face a lefty on Saturday, and you might not have Hayes. So that's the only thing I would kind of like to have Tyler Stevenson for, but I don't know. What do you think?
Looks like he started his rehab assignment on the 24th, so he's only been down there for like 8 days. I said it on the show the other night. For those of you that didn't listen, Nick and I recorded a show. What was that, Tuesday night? I went to the Bats game against the Redbirds and saw Ty along with the rest of the team, and he didn't look like vintage Tyler Stevenson to me at that point. Tyler Stevenson is best when he's spraying the ball all over the field and making strong power. And I just didn't see a whole lot of that. But again, the data is saying that he's making hard contact. It's just not finding the grass. I didn't see a whole lot of lower body movement with Tyler Stevenson during those swings. He's never really been like a huge lower body guy with his swing, but it just didn't look right to me. And after battling, it was a back injury, right? Like, that's what he's rehabbing. So I think that's my only real concern is that back actually 100%? Obviously he must feel good enough because he's down there rehabbing it, but there's no reason to rush him back at this point when you have the 2 catchers that you have that are performing the way they are. So I think if you're Tyler Stevenson, and I think if you're the Cincinnati Reds, I would certainly be willing to take a couple more days and see how things play out. The Reds certainly don't need him. But I to your point, there's never a bad thing when it comes to adding a right-handed bat to this lineup. So the question becomes, do you want to, give him the weekend, see how he feels? The bats next are back home against Omaha. So, even if you want to extend it into next week and see how he's feeling, it's only a short drive up the interstate to bring him up whenever he does feel ready. I don't know. Certainly to me, I wouldn't rush it, though. I don't think there's any question about that. There's no rush to get Tyler Stevenson back at this point.
Yeah, the biggest thing is Hayes, probably for me, because like Gavin Lux DH today against a lefty, which I don't think that's what you want. So I think that would be a big opportunity. But if they're planning on playing Hayes, then I think, I think give him another weekend. But if Hayes is going on the IL, that would be a good opportunity to maybe just continue to carry 3 catchers for a little bit longer. I don't think they're going to be able to do that forever. but I'm not completely against it either. I don't know. It just depends how they're going to use this roster, because I get mixed messages on when they're going to platoon and when they aren't. So if they're going to straight platoon, then yeah, I don't think you can carry 3 catchers. But if they are going to, go all out on the platoon lineups, which I certainly agree with, then it's kind of hard to keep 3 catchers on the roster.
Yeah, especially 3 right-handed hitting catchers nonetheless. So, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Obviously, as you mentioned, 0-for-5 day for Tyler Stevenson today. Did walk, but we shall see. Up next, the Reds just obviously finished the series with the Cardinals, end up splitting the series. Nick, what's next on deck for this weekend with the Reds?
All right, Reds taking on the Washington Nationals. The Nats play the Phillies at 6:45 p.m. They're 13-18 on the season and have lost 3 straight. They're in a pretty tough stretch, playing the Orioles, Mets, and Phillies their last 3 series. And they're also playing day 11 of 16 tomorrow in Cincinnati. Pitching matches for the weekend: unofficial for the Nats, official for the Reds. Friday, a 6:10 start time. Hunter Green against Michael Soroka. He'd be coming off the IL if they choose to activate him. Saturday, 6:40, Nick Lodolo against Mitchell Parker. Probably the most talented pitcher the Reds will face this weekend, as a really good splitter, a tough lefty. And then Sunday, 4:10 start time, Nick Martinez against Trevor Williams. So Friday, 6:10, Saturday, 6:40, Sunday, 4:10. Very weird start times. Nats could pitch Mackenzie Gore. He could pitch on Sunday on normal rest. Let's hope he doesn't. He's by far their best arm and probably has the best chance of dominating the Reds as a lefty. The Nats offense, they've kind of been slightly below average this year, but they do have some very dangerous hitters. We saw James Woods last year, has 9 home runs already. CJ Abrams just got activated off the IL, playing very well. And then number 2 overall pick, Dylan Cruz, 4 home runs in his last 12 games, so he's playing well. But the Nationals bullpen, 7.41 ERA, nearly 2 runs worse than anyone else in baseball. And our old friend Lucas Sims currently riding an 11.32 earned run average. Hunter Green's only made 1 career start against the Nationals last year, 4 2/3, 2 runs. So certainly an opportunity here for the Reds to hopefully get a series win and really continue to play good baseball.
Absolutely. The Nationals, I feel like, are a little overlooked. They have a lot of young talent, as you mentioned. So should be a good weekend of baseball. Hopefully the Reds can pick up a series win. Nick, any final thoughts for today's episode of Chatterbox Reds?
No, appreciate everyone watching, hanging with us. Like the stream on your way out. Be sure to check out the podcast. I'll have all your Reds minor league action. And then tomorrow night is the official debut of our weekend crew, Corey and Eric Phillips. You saw them on the off days. I hope you guys will support them. Take it easy on them, at least their first couple days, chat. Come on. Like, these guys are trying. It's really hard to do streams. So if you give them a little bit of grace early, give them a fresh start. I know they're going to do great. I'm excited to hear what they have to say and kind of their takes on stuff. So they'll be doing every Friday and Saturday shows for most of the rest of the summer. And then you'll still have me and Trace Sunday through Thursday. So
Nick's a seasoned vet, and he can't even get the audio to work on these shows. So I don't know why anybody would judge the newbies, but make sure you support them. Make sure you support the pregame show. Nick, I assume will be live at 5 o'clock tomorrow, right?
Yep.
On Friday. So be sure to tune into that and get breakdown of this Washington series coming up. And as always, be sure to check out Chatterbox Sports on YouTube and on social media, all the channels, for all the latest Cincinnati sports, breaking news, and coverage. For Nick Kirby, I'm Craig Sandlin. This has been Chatterbox Reds. We appreciate you tuning in. As always, go Reds.